don't know what it takes. So you want to be great, but do you really know what the stakes?
Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to your favorite podcast. It is Thursday, October 2nd at 9:34 Eastern Time p.m. It's been a long day. It's been a long week as the MLB playoffs have started. For one of us, our team is currently up 4-0. That will be the Yankees in Game 3 of that wild card series. I'm Jack Lennon, and this is Tristan Thornhill to my immediate virtual right. Tristan, how are we doing today?
Stressed out. Very, very stressed out. Yankees are up 4-0. I finally saw a good inning of, things that don't consist of just home runs, putting the ball in play and making the defense make a play. Cam Schlitler is a very, very young kid. This was a duel of young kids. Early and Schlitler, both rookies this year. Austin Wells comes up huge. Volpe comes up huge. Ahmed Rosario comes up huge. The bottom of the lineup for the Yankees coming up huge here in this game. We're only in the top of the fifth, though. Here's my issue. Cam Schlitler, he needs to come back out and just find the zone. He was sitting on the bench for a long time there. Just come out, do your thing. You have a lead. Just keep it going. But talk away from this Yankee game really quick. We had a lot of exciting baseball this week. I think everybody knew what was going to happen at the Dodgers-Reds game series. But other than that, every other series has gone 3, man. Some exciting baseball.
Yeah, and if you couldn't tell, he's the Yankees fan on the show. If you couldn't tell by looking at him or listening to him speak, or if you're new to the show, this is just how he is all the time. In fact, he's quite tame. I'm very surprised he's being quite tame right now.
I need to be calm for these, or I'll have heart.
But Tristan, a lot of surprising stuff to talk about. The Guardians get all that momentum towards the end of the year, claiming the division from the Tigers. They lose in 3 games at home. The Padres fall to the Cubs. Can't believe it. What's more shocking to you through these first couple series in the wild card? The Padres falling to the Cubs on the road, or the Guardians losing to the Tigers at home? Pardon me.
I wouldn't say that it's necessarily surprising that the Padres lost. The Padres had a great, fantastic bullpen, but when it matters the most, where have we seen them falter over these last couple of years? The playoffs. The Dodgers is not surprising at all. So when we look at who's the most surprising one, I got to say the Guardians, because you and I talk about it all the time on this show. What is the main thing you want to be going into the postseason? Scorching hot. That's what the Guardians were. You finally gave Ramirez another stab at it. And if you recall, last time we recorded, we were saying, man, no way. Even though the Guardians were on the hot streak, we were like, nah, not to be, not going to happen. They made it happen, and then they pissed their opportunity away. You won the battle, but lost the war. You came all the way back, called yourself AL Central champs, and then pissed it away as Cam Schlitler gets the big strikeout.
And I'll tell you, look.
Hold on, I'm sorry. Fair warning to anybody watching this episode, man. It was kind of a bright idea on my part to put it to today's recording, because we were originally scheduling for yesterday. And I was like, that makes no sense. We still have wild card games going on. Well, the last one's going on right now, and it happens to be the Yankees. So I'm going to be a fucking mess. Go ahead, Jack.
Oh, but you're always a fucking mess. My partner on my ballot, Tristan Thornhill. Anyway, look. Here's the deal. Honestly, I'm going to be completely honest with you, Tristan, completely honest with the viewers, because that's my job, because you live in Yankee land where everything is delusional. I think if everything holds, I think the most surprising result of everything holds tonight is the Yankees beating the Red Sox. I really do. And that's because of the Red Sox pitching. And the Red Sox pitching is hurt, and that kind of killed the Red Sox in this series. Now they're down 4-0 in the 5th inning in this game, and that is showing the weakness of the pitching, especially when it's not even Judge and Stanton beating you. It's the bottom of the order, like you mentioned, like Rosario in Game 1. Volpe goes deep. It's not the big guys who have killed the Red Sox in the series. That
is something that I definitely highlighted. I mean, I went into the postseason saying I don't even know if I want to see the Red Sox at all. I definitely had them circled as there's another huge strikeout for Cam Schlitler. It's very meticulous. You had Garrett Crochet coming in. If you somehow steal that game, you were looking great for Game 2, which they snuck around and won. Max Fried looked brilliant. And we can sit here and say that this wasn't an Aaron Boone decision. This wasn't an Aaron Boone, like Aaron Boone can't go out there and hit for his team. But you saw the balls on Alex Cora to let his pitcher, his AL probable, Cy Young probable pitcher, go out there and dominate Tennessee Vols legend Garrett Crochet. 120, I think, something pitches, maybe around the 110, 120 mark, something like that. It's not fresh on the brain right now. but Max Fried gets to 102 and you pull him. Now, don't get me wrong. If it's a regular season start, yeah, that makes sense. But your bullpen has been somewhat shaky all season. And I didn't say that I trust me, in my heart of hearts, I didn't think it was going to be Luke Weaver that was going to come out and do that. But it happened. There was backlash. They bounced back game 2. Listen, Boston was a very hot team going into this. And it wasn't, like you said, hot with the bats. It was their pitching staff that was dominant. They're hurt. They're a little banged up. They've got a fantastic game 1. They lose Giolito, who would be the game 3 starter, and now they have to go to a rookie.
And that's huge.
Here's my thing. The Yankees are also banged up. They also have a rookie going. So as far as I'm concerned, game 3 tonight was kind of even. I still think I give the upper hand to the Yankees because Cam's got a little bit more experience under his belt, and his fastball is insane. But it's even after that game 2.
And that's what I think, partner, has been lost on a lot of fans around the MLB. They're thinking, oh, Giolito's hurt. The Red Sox, they got screwed. But Garrett Cole's out for the season, right? And I'd argue Garrett Cole's
Ryan Yarbrough, Clark Schmidt. I mean, you name it. The Yankees have a depleted, rotation right now. And I look at the Red Sox bullpen more than I look at their starting rotation. The bullpen is not good. It's kind of like the Yankees. There's 2 solid guys. And Whitlock came in yesterday, and he threw like 40-something pitches. And now there's second and first for Cam Schlitler with 2 outs in the 5th. This is exactly what I didn't want happening. I wanted a shutdown so that the offense can get back out there hot. But if he can strand these here, I'm feeling okay. But anyway.
But let me say something right now before we proceed with the Yankees talk and the rest of this playoffs talk, because the MLB postseason is a time where pitching is key. And let me just say, I would strike you out on 3 pitches. 1, 2, 3. See you later. Grab some pine meat. I would strike you out.
You're delusional.
Fastball, slider.
It's the football talking that's going to your head. You haven't had any decent baseball to watch.
You're
lately.
A Giants fan.
So I completely.
You're a Giants fan.
And we won our last game against the Chargers, man. I'll take that. The Giants look great.
No, you won't take it because your best player's knee got cooked. So
yes, but I liked the fact that they were still able to hang on and win and find some kind of offensive output without it.
Absolutely, but this is not a football show. This is not a football show. This is a baseball show.
We'll have one of those soon. Maybe.
We may. So stay in contact with the McCosh Films YouTube about that because, along with other great content, a football show might be on the way. But if not, you can always rely on us here at the Hitting Cage for your sports fix. And speaking of hitting, there hasn't been a ton of it in this postseason. So, Tristan, why don't you take us through the next couple matchups in terms of assuming the Yankees hold on? What are the next matchups in these playoff series? And the Seattle Mariners, who have a great pitching staff, are also yet to play.
Did he go? I'm sorry. Hold on. He did go. Cam Schlitler gets out of it. I'm so sorry. He does get out of it. 4-0 going into the bottom of the 5th. All right. Back to postseason baseball. What am I highlighting into the ALDS? I mean, the DSs, excuse me. The divisional series are coming up, and this is, you could tell me that I'm gargling all over him all you want to, but he's a spectacular player for a reason. Shohei Ohtani is making his very first playoff start, especially, as a pitcher. This is going to be something special. He's doing it in the bright lights of as a Dodger, and he's going to be going up against the Phillies in Philly. Oh, my God. That's going to be some spectacular baseball to watch. You talk about the fanatic Philly fans. You talk about those don't give a fuck attitudes over there in Philly. They're going to let him hear it if he can't get off the mound in like 4 or 5 innings without allowing like 3 runs. So I highlight that. We know Shohei is a master of hitting. We know he's
absolutely.
We know he's a unicorn. We know that he's calm and collected. But when you step into Philly, it's a different monster. He's had the benefit of being home for a lot of his playoff, big-time moments. This is his first pitching experience in the playoffs. Can he grow a pair and step up to the mound and deliver? That remains to be seen. But one thing that's always bothered me about big-time hitters like Kyle Schwarber, who had an NL MVP caliber type year, or Bryce Harper, they were sitting for a week, man. And, they scrimmaged. Yeah, they scrimmaged. They even let fans into their scrimmage. I don't know if you were able to watch that. But Shohei Ohtani's a different monster. But that's what I'm highlighting. That's one of the pitching performances that I have to highlight. I know it's your typical, Shohei Ohtani, but it's his first playoff start, man. It is. It's going to be exciting.
I mean, look, partner, it's going to be interesting in terms of that series because just a couple of weeks ago, the Phillies lose Zach Wheeler for the year. That's really tough, but they do have some good arms still in that rotation. We'll see if they can. The Dodgers are undeniably a very tough team to pitch against, and they could be getting Will Smith back very soon, who, if he was healthy, would have had a chance to win the National League batting title. So, and you think about Will Smith and you think about all the weapons the Dodgers have, and Will Smith comes up as the fifth or sixth most dangerous guy in that lineup.
Yep.
And if he's on any other team and he's healthy, he's putting together an MVP campaign. I mean, the guy was hitting 360 or so about 100 games into the year, and he gets hurt. And, I'd like to see what the Phillies pitchers do, because this is a Dodgers lineup that has a great balance of lefty-righty, or lefty Shohei Ohtani and Freddie Freeman, the righties Mookie Betts and Teoscar Hernandez, albeit Mookie Betts hasn't had a Mookie Betts kind of season. Yeah. But we know that Mookie Betts is going to come up clutch at least once in this series for the Los Angeles Dodgers. He always finds a way to make those tough plays with the bat and the glove. So, Tristan, who's your pick for this series? Is it the Yankees, or is it the Phillies or the Dodgers?
I'm going with the Phillies. I had the Phillies go in the long haul before we even wild card series started. I have the Phillies. I think the Phillies, can attack that Dodger bullpen. That Dodger bullpen has been hideous. Absolutely.
So are the Phillies? So let me clarify. Are the Phillies then your pick to win the National League?
I don't want to get
sticking by that.
I don't want to get too
because
ahead
that's a pick you made last time we talked.
Yes,
so I want to know if that's.
Yes. Obviously, then yes, it is. But I'm not going to put all my money on one card quite yet. We haven't seen the Brewers play in the playoffs yet. We've seen the Cubs.
Right, but what you saw was what you saw from the Dodgers enough to change your mind about picking the Phillies to win the National League?
No, their bats are hot. Their bats are good, but you're going up against a much better team in the Philadelphia Phillies.
Absolutely.
And that bullpen, in that second game, gave up some runs to the Reds, who are not a good team, and were able to beat out worse teams to get in. So respect to the Reds, man. Let's all agree on something. Let's get this down pat. If you're a Reds fan, don't take offense. I really love your team. I really do. If it weren't for the expanded playoff, you wouldn't be there, obviously, but you didn't deserve to be there. No one else was good.
Well, they didn't deserve to be there. The Mets just deserve to be there less than they did.
Thank you. By the way, Charlie Fernandez sent his regards to me pretty loudly after I told him about the Mets falling out. He threatened the show. I'll leave it at that. He threatened the show. Anyway,
he threatened the Hitting Cage podcast?
He threatened the Hitting Cage podcast, man.
Well, I don't know what power you hold, Charlie, to threaten this great podcast where we're loved by all, listened to by a few, and we're sponsored by absolutely none.
What a fantastic plug, and that's why they pay Jack.
But I'm going to have – that's why they pay me the median bucks. But I'm going to have to talk with Charlie Fernandez about that because I just texted him earlier today, and I didn't realize he was making such douchebag remarks. So I'm going to have to talk to him about that.
Yeah, I'll let you know some of the other things that he said. Update in the bottom of the fifth, 2 outs. Amid Rosario up with 2 outs after Ben Rice and Giancarlo Stanton both fly out to center. But yeah, give me the Phillies. I know that they've been sitting and resting for a while as Amid Rosario strikes out there. So the Yankees go down 1-2-3. Hopefully Cam Schlitler can come back out and keep dealing. But I like the makeup of the Phillies. You don't see a collapse in them like you've seen from the Yankees bullpen, that you've seen from the Dodgers bullpen. Yes, they are hurt pitching-wise. They're missing some great starters. But those bats, if they can match what the Dodgers are able to do, give me the Phillies pitching over the Dodgers.
Look, the other reason for that is the Dodgers. I think the reason I'm not picking the Dodgers this year, and there's a number of reasons, as you know, partner, and people say, oh, you like the Giants, so you're not going to pick the Dodgers. I don't care. Here's the bottom line. The Dodgers have had too many moving parts this season. Yeah. They've had too many guys in and out of the rotation. They've had too many injuries. They don't have continuity. And that's the only problem with this Dodgers team. I don't think that Dave Roberts is a good enough manager to get all those guys together in time when there's so much moving parts, so much turnover, even during the year. I mean, who's ever heard of Ben Wortvedt? And now he's a starting catcher for the Dodgers. And keep in mind, that's the guy who's calling the game for Blake Snell, for Clayton Kershaw, for Shohei Ohtani.
I agree with you. I agree with you. But Ben Rortvedt has always been a great game commander. You may not know him, but he was a Yankee for a little bit, and he was a great game commander. I think he was really good at settling his pitchers down, making sure that he's locked in with what they want to throw in certain spots. But he's still relatively new there. I know he's been there almost the whole season, but he's still relatively new. And yes, he's not a household name. But I think in the pitching wise department, when it comes to starting, I think the Dodgers will be fine. I could totally see the Dodgers jumping out to 2-3 run leads against the Phillies. I just don't think that they can close, man.
Their bullpen look, Tristan's had a really rough year. Tanner Scott is a shell of his former self. They have a couple guys that are semi-reliable, but I thought their bullpen was going to be one of their strengths coming into the year, and that just has not been the case.
You know what? The Dodgers bullpen to me is the Yankees defense. You just never know. Anytime something's put in play, your heart's just like, okay, he's got the ball, but is he going to make a good throw? And the same could be said for the Yankees bullpen, but they've been hot lately. But that's how I feel about the Dodgers bullpen. What version are we going to get? And more often than not, it's a bad version.
And more often than not, partner, when you have a bullpen like that where you're wondering so much, that team doesn't go on to win much. And that maybe the Dodgers hitting will carry them. But I've been of the philosophy for years, and we know this, that look, it all comes down to great pitching and timely hitting. And I don't think the Dodgers have that great pitching this year.
It certainly hasn't. Listen, they were able to beat the Reds.
Big fucking whoop, partner.
This is the second best team in the NL coming up now at you. And, man, when they're on, they're on. But I kind of want to get to the other side of the NL here, to the Cubs-Brewers, which I really think this is going to be an exciting matchup. Not as sexy as the teams when you hear Philly-Dodgers is going to be, but that's going to be an insane matchup. And, again, I look at the pitching. The Brewers can beat you to death with their bats, but they just wear you down. Is that a double play ball for Cam Schlitler? There's one. He does hang on to the ball, but the bad fucking throw stops the double play. This is what I'm talking about with this Yankees defense, man. It totally could have been 2, but they get the out at second. But anyway, back to Brewers-Cubs. Can the Cubs hang in for those jabs that the Brewers are going to give? We know how dominant that the Brewers can be. We know what they have in Jacob and the rest of their starting rotation. We know that their bullpen is solid. We know that they have timely hitting. They don't hit the crap out of the ball. They can, but they don't often do it. But they are timely with their hits
because they don't have to.
No,
because their team batting average is so high. And look, I mean, for the Brewers, this is a battle for the Midwest crown, and whether that's a prestigious award to you or not. Everyone outside the Midwest will say, who cares about who wins the Midwest?
Yeah.
But look, for me, this is a big matchup. I had a lot of family from Chicago, and I like rooting for the Brewers and the Cubs, both good franchises. But to me, this is just who's going to lose to the Dodgers and the Phillies. I mean, it just is. And I think both teams have had a great year. I think the Cubs are a little too cold at the end of the year. They started off great. They started off as the 1 seed in the National League for the first couple of weeks, really fell off towards the back end of the season. Kyle Tucker and Pete Armstrong got very cold.
Yeah.
So, I mean, look, I don't think that the timely hitting is there for the Cubs. I think the pitching can be there, but the Brewers just more well-rounded. They've been together for longer. It's the same guys year after year, maybe 1 or 2 more added. But look, this Brewers team has enough to beat the Cubs for sure.
I agree. And I mean, I told you I don't think that either one of these teams are going to go on to beat either the other 2 teams on the other side of the bracket. That remains to be seen. Maybe the Brewers are, keep sleeping on us. I know that they're the number 1 overall seed. When you hear the word Brewers and you look up and down the lineup, it just does not seem like something that they're going to be able to get over the hump. They have the talent. They have the tenacity. They have the umph. They showed it all year long. I'm a slut to the name. And you could tell me I don't know ball, but we'll see. We'll see. I'm not negating that the Brewers are a very talented team. I see Dodgers and Phillies, and you kind of got to gravitate toward those teams.
I'm with you, partner, and it's because of where the game of baseball has gone with these deferred payments and these big payrolls. And the Phillies and the Dodgers both have a much larger payroll than the Milwaukee Brewers. And I'd love to see the Brewers win, but in this day and age of baseball, there is no more 2005 Chicago White Sox. It just doesn't happen too much anymore.
Yeah.
But I do want to know, I want to move on to the AL, but let's get picks for each of these series, and then let's get picks for who's going to win the NL. Tristan, we'll start with you. Who's your pick for Cubs, Brewers, and then Dodgers, Phillies? You already told us Dodgers, Phillies, but who's your pick for Cubs, Brewers?
Give me the Brewers. I think the Brewers have everything that it takes. I really thought that the Padres were going to be the ones that were going up against the Brewers. Padres' bullpen was electric. They have the tools in the lineup to do it. They just didn't get it done. They had to go on the road, and maybe that factored into it. But I think the Cubs are a little hot. They were hot to start the season. They were one of those teams that were teetering. So I think that the Brewers can handle the Cubs, especially in Milwaukee. You give this team last licks. I think their clutches can be the Brewers. So give me the Brewers, and then give me the Phillies, and then I'm going to take the Phillies in a best of 7 to go to the World Series. That's my pick in the NL.
Look, partner, I'm going to be unoriginal, and as much as I hate to agree with you, look, it's going to be Brewers. I think the Cubs, like I said, are a bit too cold.
Strike 3. I'm sorry. I told you it was going to be a mess, man. I told you it was going to be a mess.
And I can't, in good conscience, pick the Dodgers. It's going to be Brewers, and it's going to be Phillies, and it's going to be Phillies. And I know I picked the Padres to win the World Series, but we're going to ignore that. I'm going to get a redemption pick. I'm going to say the Phillies win the National League. But, partner, let's move over to the American League.
Which is not
Let's
finished
start over
yet.
there. Let's assume all holds. Let's assume the Yankees move on.
Oh, don't do that to me, man. I believe in karma. Let's start on the side that's obviously already done. Let's start there. Detroit, Seattle. This one's a tough one. It again lies in the fact of what Detroit team am I getting. This Detroit team looked, I think you could agree with me, looked like shit to end the year. They had Tyreek Skubal going out there, and then besides that.
Not just to end the year, it was the last 60, 70 games.
Yes.
I mean, we're not talking the last 2 weeks.
Yes.
It was after the All-Star.
They stumbled in, but somehow the team that beat them over the head with a hammer got taken down in their own ballpark. If you're a Guardians fan, man, you need a hug. You seriously do. You went through one hell of a roller coaster of a season. From, we're planning on contending this year. I mean, we went to the ALCS last year. I would think that we're planning on contending. To, here comes those summer blues, those summer swings where we just can't seem to do anything. To where you think it doesn't get any darker, but then a bunch of your players are accused of gambling. Manuel Clase is gone. Then, out of nowhere, down 15 games at the end of July, you storm back and win the AL Central, which I'm sorry, is a division that nobody fucking cares about because it's the AL Central.
Well, let's clear something up real quick, partner. You said that the preseason, when we were still filming at the bottom of Vandy Hill Tower, that 3 teams would make the playoffs in this division.
No, they could. They could. But is anybody scared for them when they get there?
Absolutely. Are you kidding me? I'm scared of the Pirates.
I'm not scared of the Pirates.
I'm scared of the Pirates.
No,
the Tigers. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm scared of the Tigers.
I'm scared of the Tigers day one. That's about it. They just beat the Yankees in a series, and I'm not scared.
It's all fun and games until you're in a 7-game series and Skubal's pitching.
Did you see the way they were playing baseball to end the season?
It's all fun and games until you're in a 7-game series and Skubal's pitching game 1, 4, and 7, and all you got to do if you're the Tigers is win one other game.
That's the problem. Can they? They ran into a Guardians team that loves to choke in the playoffs. It's the Guardians. Again, we will see. Maybe the Tigers, got that cold streak out of the way, and now they're deciding to get hot now. Who knows? Who knows? All I know is they've got a dominant motherfucker. Game 1. Game 2, 3, question marks. What version of Jack Flair do you get? Jazz Chisholm starts the bottom of the 6th off of the base hit to right. What version of the Detroit Tigers are you going to say? We know that they can be dominant pitching. We know that. But it's been bad lately. It's been bad.
And the bats need to wake up quick.
And we know that they can, though. They have a talented lineup. It's a bit of a sleeper, but it's a talented lineup. Now, here's the problem. They're running into a much more talented lineup in the Seattle Mariners. I'll let you talk me through that.
Well, look, I mean, there's a lot to analyze with this Mariners team. You got, obviously, the big dumper, as they like to call him, Cal Raleigh. who, while my partner has his headphones off so can't hear me, is a contender for the AL MVP. He is a contender for the AL MVP. I think both of us on this podcast will agree that Aaron Judge should win that award. But in the case of voter fatigue, Cal Raleigh could pull off a Joel Embiid and win this MVP award. But that's irrelevant to what this lineup looks like. I mean, you got Julio Rodriguez, who, albeit a disappointment for what he was hyped up to be, is still a very solid bat. You got Bo Naylor. You got Eugenio Suarez. I mean, this is a team with a lot of power. It is all power.
Randy Arozarena, who they got last year.
Victor Robles.
Yeah, I think it's a very talented lineup down up and down the lineup. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to steal your point from you. Go ahead.
No, you're right about that, partner. I mean, look, it's all power. You got Raleigh and Rodriguez and Suarez and Naylor and Robles and Arozarena. It's 1 through 6, and it's just 30 home run guy after 30 home run guy, and it's relentless. But the problem with that is that home run or strikeout guys, when it comes to the playoffs, are known to strike out. And if these guys can't have anyone on for a base hit, it's going to be a whole lot of solo shots. They're not going to win anything. I think it's going to be a dogfight between these two pitching staffs. I think that the Mariners' need for a left-handed pitcher is not going to be as obvious in this series because of the Pirates.
Because it's just one.
Pardon me, the Tigers. The Tigers' right-handed heavy lineup. I don't know why I keep mixing up the Tigers.
I understand what you're saying. You're an NL mind. I've grasped you every step of the way. I agree. I think both of us were going into the season saying we're not high on the pitching rotation, even though it's really deadly for the Mariners just because it's all righty. But none of that matters anymore. Now you're facing a right-handed heavy Detroit Tigers team. So my thing with the Mariners is, yes, they're good, and is that an inning-ending? No, it is not an inning-ending double play for Austin Wells. Ball goes out of play, so Austin Wells will get to second with 2 outs. The top of the lineup coming up now. 2 outs with Trent Grisham coming up in a minute, second. My thing with the Mariners is, yes, they are righty-heavy, and I'm going to go ahead and tell you this. I think that they can beat the Detroit team in a best-of-5, is that when you look at who's in front of them, if the Yankees were to beat the Blue Jays or the Red Sox were to beat the Blue Jays, whoever wins this game right here, if whoever wins this game goes on to beat the Blue Jays, they're lefty-heavy after that. And you have righties. The Yankees can mash lefties. They can. They can mash righties. They can. The Red Sox can definitely mash righties too.
Bellinger and Ben Rice.
And then we have Roman Anthony, who's looming. If the Red Sox do come back and win this game in advance, they think that there's a shot that he could get back from the ALCS. So you just don't know. That's the only thing that turns me off about the Mariner team. But I think that their lineup is superb. I think they dropped game 1 just because of Tyreek fucking Skubal. But games 2, 3, 5, I think they got it. I'll say game 4 is a toss-up right now, but.
Let me say this, Tristan. I think my perspective on the outlook for the Yankees moving forward, assuming, again, that they advance, unless there's a miracle of God for the people up in Boston.
It would not take a miracle of God to win this game. You just put the ball in play and let the Yankees defense do itself. We'll see.
You put Camilo Doval and the Red Sox will go right on in advance. But anyway, look.
That's all we're going to say.
Assuming everything holds, the Yankees advance.
Mm-hmm.
I think, for me, I think it's worth it. I think it's worth it to have played the Red Sox. I think obviously you're looking at when you're getting close to the end of the season, we want to win this division. We want the bye. We don't want to play Boston because it's a hard matchup. It's a rivalry. Anything can happen, even at Yankee Stadium. But look, I mean, if you get momentum and then take that into Toronto, where it's probably going to be a home field advantage, could be a lot of Yankees fans in Toronto.
I think either way, there's going to be a lot of opposing fans. But you can't forget. That's all of Canada packed into one building.
It is, and I think that is true.
Rogers Center is a great environment in the playoffs. I will give them that. I
think that having beat the Red Sox, it serves them better to then take that momentum to Toronto than being on their asses for a week.
I agree.
I really do.
I agree because I mean, me and you, we both circled the Red Sox going into this postseason as watch out. If you have to play this team, they are going to be fucking tough. And I mean, I think that either one of these teams can handle the Blue Jays, but the Blue Jays are there for a reason. Excuse me, they're the number 1 overall team in the AL for a reason. So can you handle it? But did you already give me your Mariners Tigers pick before we move on to the series that's not 100% yet?
I didn't. And look, for me, it's a tough one because you got Scooble out there guaranteed 2 games, right? Games 1 and game 4/5.
Mm-hmm.
It's difficult for me. Like you said, can you find a way to win one fucking game in between? And if you're the Tigers at this point, I can't confidently say that you do. I really can't, because even with Jack Flaherty, it's a right-handed heavy lineup for the Mariners, but it doesn't matter when you have that much power. I don't see the Tigers winning this. Unfortunately, I'd love it. I think it would favor them more if it was a 7-game series, because that way you get Scooble 3 times. But I just think it's going to be really, really difficult, especially for Detroit to travel so far to Seattle, which has a great home crowd, which is so hungry for a playoff series win. Give me the Mariners. It's going to be 5 games because Scooble's going to win 2 of them, but I think it's going to be 5. What about you?
I agree, just because I think that this is going to be a tough series regardless, because of the motherfucker that's wearing the big D in Detroit. But the Mariners can hit. That's the issue. Can good hitting beat good pitching in this sense? So I will also say give me the Mariners in 5. It's going to be interesting, that game 4. It's going to be really interesting. I mean, if the Mariners come out there and shit all over Scooble, that changes everything. That changes my entire postseason outlook on the AL side. On the AL side. It just depends. How will this pitching, this hit, this? Oh my goodness, I'm all over the place. So Nathaniel Lowe puts a deep. No, it's shallow, but is it going to drop? Judge coming in, grabs it in foul territory for out number 1 on the top of the 7th. It's going to be interesting how the Mariners, again, righty heavy, are going to deal with Tyler Scooble and that sinker. That sinker that he throws. I don't know if you were watching him against the Guardians, man. You know what it makes me do? It quite literally, when I see it makes me go, oh, like my knees buckle just even thinking about having to step into that pitch. So we'll see. There's a lot to talk about, but at the same time, there's not, because we're still waiting on another game to wrap up. So is there any other kind of part you want to go into here?
Well, I do want to talk about a couple of the other things that have happened across the league, because, of course, with my team being eliminated, there is still news.
Oh, yeah, the managers. Let's get into the managers.
Yeah, the managers. So, first of all, the San Francisco Giants were the first team to fire the manager, getting rid of Bob Melvin. The Arizona Cardinals doubled down on their commitment. Pardon me, not Arizona, St. Louis. My God, man. The St. Louis Cardinals doubled down on – it's football season. Forgive me. It's my team. The Giants are out of the playoffs, so for me it's football season. But St. Louis Cardinals doubled down their commitment to Oliver Marmol. Tristan, before we get into some other firings, do you think that's the right decision for the Cardinals? Why or why not?
It's tough. The Cardinals weren't competing. They have young talent. So maybe you want to get your young talent ready to adapt to a new mind. So then if that's what your goal is, yes, I think this is a good move. I think that this is something that you want to get your young talent adapted to the manager that they're going to have for the foreseeable future, which, you hear in football all the time. It's too early to tell for me. I'll say that. How about that? Too early to tell. I don't think that necessarily, you know what? There is an answer. I don't think that the Cardinals were going to do anything with it, but it's too early to tell in St. Louis right now. There's a lot of young talent that they're still waiting on. So,
I mean, look, like you said, they're waiting on J.J. Weatherholt. Obviously, Jordan Walker has not panned out to be what he was hyped up to be, a first-round pick a couple of years ago.
But he's still there. He's still there.
He's still there. And look, if you're St. Louis, you're 5 games out of a playoff spot this year, just below 500, 78-84, with no talent. I mean, your best hitter is Brendan Donovan. Mason Wynn's starting to come into his own a little bit, but I think Oliver Marmol did a damn good job with this team, considering what they had. I mean, you go into the last week of the season, you're still alive, you're still competing for a wild card spot, you're 2.5 games back with a week to go, with that roster, with Nolan Arenado as your big stick. Give me a fucking break, man. Yeah. Nolan Arenado hasn't been good in 6 years, as much as I love the guy. So I'm impressed with what he did as Cardinals manager this year, and I think he deserves a chance. I think it would have been very unfair for them to fire him. I think I agree with you on that.
Yeah. So you want to go down the list of firings and possibles? I can start us off. Actually, I'll save your Giants for you. We'll talk about the Minnesota Twins. The Minnesota Twins have said goodbye to Rocco Baldelli in the immediate approval of a friend of the podcast, Chase Jones. And I'm just looking at what ESPN has as top probable candidates. You see Craig Albernaz, who is currently the associate manager of the Guardians, Kai Correa, who currently works as a field coordinator for the Guardians, Torrey Hunter, James Rosen, who's currently the hitting coach for the New York Yankees, Derek Shelton, who managed the Pirates from 2020 to 2025.
Oh God, don't do that.
Drew Berta, who's catching for the White Sox, if I'm not mistaken, not too long ago. And then Jace Tingler, who's currently the Twins bench coach. Those are your probable candidates if you're the Minnesota Twins. I want to ask you, which is the one that sticks out to the most for you out of that list? I can recite it to you if you need me to.
Oh man, I don't think the answer is a guy. If you're the Minnesota Twins, I don't think the answer is a guy who's been there, done that, and been 500. As I like to say, I don't think it is, because that's what the Minnesota Twins have been for years now. It's been there, done that, been 500, and Rocco Baldelli was just less than that even. I don't think he finished.
Cam Schlitler is so fucking good at baseball, man. I'm sorry, continue.
I don't think the Twins finished 500 this season, and RG, is there any way we can mute this guy? My God. Anyway, look, I don't know if I like many of these options, but I think I can't pinpoint one that it has to be, because there's so many problems on the Twins. It's not just the managerial issues. It's the bullpen. It's the hitting. It's the bad contracts. And they unload Correa finally, but they got bad contracts with Royce Lewis.
It's
Byron Buxton doesn't want to leave
there for a while.
And so, look, it's a number of problems. You got to get someone in there who's not going to be just a stopgap for 3 years. It's not going to be a Bob Melvin Band-Aid kind of fix. It's not going to be a Mike Schilt. It's not going to be a Bud Black. It needs to be someone young, someone new who can come in and right this ship for the next 15 years, because it's going to take 5 or 6 years for this team to get back on track and get out from under those hideous contracts that they're tied to. So it's going to be a multi-step process for the Twins. I can't say it's going to be, a hire an experienced manager who's made the pennant one time, like a Kevin Cash kind of guy, but it needs to be someone new. What do you think?
I agree with you wholeheartedly. I think it needs to be somebody new and refreshing. I don't think this can't be an internal hire, because the internal part of the Twins has been fucking miserable for so long. You talk about maybe 2017, 2018, the last time that Twins baseball got you giddy and made you think, ooh, the Twins, like now you hear the Twins, you go,
They need a culture shift, partner. They need a culture shift.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You need to bring in somebody from the outside, and I named everybody from the outside, but no one there maybe strikes me. I wouldn't hate Torrey Hunter, but it doesn't strike me. It doesn't give me Twins. And the Twins are not a manager away. So that's what I'm saying. I'm not heavy on this Twins discussion. What I'm heavy on is the San Francisco Giants discussion. That's what I'm heavy on. Because I won't say that the Giants are a manager away, but that's a damn good step in getting you into the wild card next year.
Look, partner, you're not going to get any argument from me. Buster Posey's done a great job of bolstering this roster, picking up Willie Adames, extending Matt Chapman, and picking up Rafael Devers for next to nothing at the trade deadline. Picking up Justin Verlander, who ended up having a great season on the back half of the year. But look, I agree with you. The Giants are not a manager away, and Buster Posey came out and said Bruce Bochy will not be the manager of this team, which I really dislike.
We can get into a tangent on that if you want. I don't fucking understand why you would come right out of the gates and go ahead and already nip something in the bud. Why, just straight to the point there. This Bochy's fantastic.
You've got a guy who's, and I'm not being biased, partner, who's one of the greatest managers of all time. He won 3 with the Giants and 3 teams that should not have had any business winning a World Series,
and then
except for maybe 2012.
Same with the Rangers.
And you go with the Rangers and you win them. They're not only a championship, they're first. First of all, I don't understand why the hell the Rangers got rid of him. Okay, I really don't. I think with Bochy, it's just a once in every 3 years you're really good kind of thing. And the rest of them in between, you're 500. That's how it's always been with Bruce Bochy. But I don't get it. He won you 3 championships. He's one of the, not the, but one of the winningest managers in franchise history. And Buster Posey played for him. There's no reason not to bring him back. He can personally attest to how great of a manager he is. But I guess It's just, it might not be the time. Maybe I need to stop being biased and nostalgic and apply the own logic.
That's not horrible. You know, like you see Bruce Bochy and you think, ooh, a sexy reunion. Now, they could totally go get Bruce Bochy and it end up being an epic failure. Everybody is hooked on the nostalgia of the fact that he was able to do it for so long here. But it's also, simply cut. Yesterday's baseball is not today's baseball. So maybe that's something that factors into that decision. It's a completely different team that the Giants are rolling with right now. And they gave up some pieces on the trade deadline. And so, like I said, they're not a manager away. But, anything can happen in the expanded playoffs. So we'll see. Maybe they're a manager away from getting into the wild card. Who knows? But
I mean, look. You look at this, and when they got rid of Bruce Bochy, I refuse to believe he retired. When they got rid of Bruce Bochy, you bring in analytical mastermind Gabe Kapler, and that was a flop. Okay, and then you want to go back to the Bochy days, so you bring in Sleepy Bob Melvin, as I like to call him, and that was a flop. So look, I mean, you're trying not to. There's got to be a happy medium. There's got to be a guy who's 50 instead of 30 or 80. There's got to be something in between where it's I pay attention to the analytics, but I pay attention to my gut.
And you know what? There is, and I don't think it's the right move, but it is a sexy name to me. I don't think he's ready for big time managing yet.
Oh, don't.
But his name is on the report. Mr. Tennessee, Tony Vitello, who we are both very familiar with. And I'm sorry, I won't call it an ego. His moxie it doesn't scream MLB manager to me. Thoughts? Can you hear me?
Look, yeah, I'm just trying to process this because I can't believe these words just came out of your mouth.
No, I think he's a really good manager, but he's just not MLB ready to me.
Look, okay, then I agree with you, partner. Look, I love Tony Vitello as a coach and as a man. He's a really nice guy.
Awesome
you and I
guy.
have both talked to him a number of times. Great man, great coach. He belongs in Tennessee. He doesn't belong in San Francisco.
I think he found his home. That's what I'm saying.
He found his home. He's doing a fantastic job with the Vols. It would be uprooting a program that he's built. Here's the main reasoning for it.
Uprooting a number one class that he currently holds, recruiting class?
Correct. And here's the main reason for why Tony Vitello will not end up coaching my hometown team that no one's talking about. $3 million is about what Tony Vitello is making at Tennessee this year. That's the reports that I've heard. I haven't asked him about it, obviously. Mm-hmm. That's just a number that's been thrown around a bit. That same salary for cost of living in Knoxville is equivalent to $7 million in San Francisco. The Giants are not going to pay a manager with zero MLB experience $7 million when they just got done paying Bob Melvin $5 million. It's just not going to happen. The Giants are not going to pay 50% more for a guy who's never coached an MLB game than a guy who was an NL manager the year before. So it's just that's the biggest reason for me. Tony Vitello is not going to coach the Giants. He's not. And they have a lot of connections. Drew Gilbert, Devin Keelan, Blade Tidwell.
Yeah,
he's not going to
they
coach
have
the
connections. I just don't think that he's there yet. He won his first national championship in Tennessee. He's turned the Tennessee program around. But that doesn't mean you jump right on him right out of the gates. I think that will be a catastrophic failure for the Giants. It would ruin a lot of Tony's moxie. He's a fiery dude. And you can be fiery in the MLB, but he's a young fiery, He's not afraid to call people out on their bullshit. He really isn't. But we've talked about who it can't be for the Giants and who it probably won't be for the Giants. Who do you think it should be? And do you want me to give you a list that's on ESPN.com?
Oh, I've read on the list, partner. I've been researching this for 3 days straight. My search history is 80% SF Giants and 20% Hitting Cage podcast. So look, I mean, that's the way it should be, right? But look, I think that if not Bochy, I'm not happy. And I'll tell you right now, Buster Posey, I love the job you've done. You've brought in some serious talent. You've been able to relate to the players. You've kept our broadcasters, which is the most important part. But if you're not going to hire the greatest manager in franchise history, whoever you hire better be effing good. Better be good. And it better work out. Because if not, it's always going to be, well, we could have had Bochy. Well, we could have had Bochy back. And I know San Francisco Giants fans because I've been around them my whole life. If this next hire does not work out, there's going to be 800,000 people in San Francisco thinking we could have won another championship with Bruce Bochy. And that's probably not true. It's not.
Who knows?
So I don't know.
You'll never know.
I like the idea of Mark. I like the idea of Mark DeRosa. I like the idea of Skip Schumacher. I know he's probably going to take that Texas job. If the Giants can lure former Giants catcher Stephen Vogt to San Francisco, that would be huge. But I don't know, partner. I think there's a number of ways it could go. I'm not going to be super psyched about any of them because it's not my childhood manager.
I'll briefly mention the other two other couple of vacancies. We've talked about the Rangers. The Angels, Ron Washington has some health issues. Undergoing quadruple bypass heart surgery, will not be returning. Ray Montgomery was named the intern manager, but he will not be returning to the full-time role.
And that's sad. I hate to cut you off, partner, but Ron Washington, I think, was a good manager.
No, he was. He's getting towards the end of his leash, I'd say, and being out there. He's getting old.
And it's unfortunate.
It's sad. But
it is. Go on.
A big name there, Torrey Hunter there as well, and Albert Pujols.
I like that. I think that's a good move. Bring in a guy who can relate to these players.
Brian Snitker was also canned by the Atlanta Braves, which I told you, I called it, that I think that was going to happen. And you had
I don't think that's a good move.
You had some words for me. Mark DeRosa is a top candidate. Skip Shoemaker is also a top candidate, and David Ross. Why do you think this is a bad move? I think it's something that had to happen. He won you a World Series, but the talent is still there, and they're not producing. So someone's got to get thrown under the bus. It's not completely his fault, but something's got to happen. So go ahead.
The talent is there. The talent is there on paper. You got Jurickson Profar sitting out half the season because he's on steroids. You kidding me? You got Ronald Acuna out for 100 games a year perennially.
Yep.
I mean, there's only so much you can do. And Matt Olson and Sean Murphy are not getting any younger. So the talent's there, yes. But this is a guy who won you a championship, who was manager of the year. I don't think he's the right guy to scapegoat. I don't hate the move. I don't think firing your manager and changing nothing else about a team that won 70 games is going to turn you into a playoff team. It's just not. And who do you want to take over the Braves then? If you think firing Snitker is such a good move, who's the better move?
I think this is Mark DeRosa's territory. I think he can come down here in the land down south, walk into Georgia and play a little bit of fiddle. I really do. And I think it's going to be interesting to see him, how he's going to do in the WBC coming up in 2026. I think, jokingly enough, that might be an audition for him. And I got some news for you. I'm going to go back into this Yankee game. Cam Schlitler has come back out for the top of the eighth inning. This rookie.
Love it.
He just threw his first pitch of the eighth inning. It was a strike, 101. 101 pitches. Just threw his 102nd for a ball, but he's still teetering around 98, 99. This guy is insane.
I'll tell you, partner, this is the key for a young pitcher like Cam Schlitler.
Big time moments.
Because if you can come out in your first playoff game and perform the way he's performed, that guy is going to be so confident moving forward.
You just have – I wish you were watching this game with me. The way that he delivers his fastballs, his fastball is being pitched like – it's like a Liam Doyle in college, 55% of the time. And right now at 103 pitches, he just threw one in there for 98. Gonzalez gets out of the box and just looks around and just goes, I mean, that's a fastball up and in at 98. What the hell like that's how – if I'm a pitcher, you just sold me. You just sold me that I am getting you out. You come out of the box and you go, you have no answer for me. You have no answer. He's currently got to.
And you know what's funny about that? If you step out of the box and go, man, what am I supposed to do about that? As a pitcher, I'm throwing that same fucking pitch three fucking times.
And he just struck him out with the same exact pitch up and out of the zone. 105 pitches with 12 fucking Ks for Cam goddamn Schlitler. He is dealing tonight in a big, huge spot where the Yankees are hurt to hell in the pitching department. This young kid, out of seemingly nowhere, only a handful of games in AAA, I think 5 games in AAA, I think out of Northeast College, dealing. I loved him from pitch 1. He reminds me of Garrett Cole, man. That fuck you fastball.
Okay. Miss me with this bullshit.
No.
Because in 3 games, when he blows the lead, he's not going to remind you of Garrett Cole.
Holy crap! Oh my God! Did he catch that ball? Oh my God! Ryan McMahon just fell into the dugout catching a ball on the third base side. Go to Twitter and look at. No. Whoever's watching this, go to Twitter and go look at that fucking play. What a fucking play. That reminded me of Jeter. He fell into the dugout face first, bro. Like, I thought he busted his face open just now.
All I wanted to say was keep this same energy when Cam Schlitler blows a big lead. Don't come on here and say, I knew Cam Schlitler all along was horrible. Well, because I know that's exactly what you're going to do.
It depends. We've seen Cam Schlitler in a big start. I think that there might be a chance that he could move to the bullpen later on in his like next year when you have your healthy pitching back. So we'll see. We'll see. If he's a starter, this fastball. I mean, you're telling me that you were scared of the Red Sox going into because their offense is disgusting. As he gets a ground ball to Volpe, and he gets the out 1, 2, 3 inning. Do you bring out Cam Schlitler for the ninth?
No, I would. I think if you don't, you deserve to lose that game.
I do. I
Just
agree.
how he's pitched.
I agree. He's at 100-something pitches, and this is one of the I want to tear up thinking about how great Cam Schlitler has looked tonight. His defense has been fucking spectacular. He's getting some high fives and handshakes in the dugout. I think that might be the ball game for him. But claps. I tip my hat to you, Cam Schlitler. What a fucking start. His
night shouldn't be over.
It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. But what a spectacular fucking start. And what a spectacular fucking episode, Jack. Do you have any other closing remarks? As I have to go now.
All I got to say.
Last inning in the Yankee game.
All I got to say is, partner, I'm trying to find the words to describe how these wonderful viewers of ours should feel.
Yeah.
Well, what is it that you always like to say about what they should do?
Well, it's lost on me, so I have to think, and I'll use some verbal jargon to help me jog my memory. Guys, if you love us, I'm just going through the motions, please hit subscribe, hit the notification bell so you guys can check us out, check everything out. McCosh, follow 88 Keys Management on Instagram. Follow me and Jack also on Instagram. Make sure you follow our Twitter, our Instagram, and everywhere. And make sure you guys give us thanks to our producer, our lovely producer, RG, and our other associate producer, Grace, who's currently in the background as well, holding down the fort. We wouldn't be able to do this if it weren't for them or for y'all and the awesome sport that is baseball. Now that I've said all that verbal jargon, I remember what it is that I usually tell
I'm glad.
our fans.
Because they need to know.
They do need to know. And it's to stay funky, stay fresh. And by golly gosh darn it, we'll see you in the next one. Let's go Yankees, baby. Bye-bye.
Aye, that's a good one.